2 chapters left for the year. What else are we gonna see unleashed? Hello humans of the world, I'm Dawn of the World, welcome aboard. So as you can see, I'm kind of on the go this week. I'm in my weeb friend's bedroom, as you can probably appreciate. Originally was gonna go back to my hometown to record this video, but I have a sudden other job come up tomorrow morning, so that's not gonna happen. So I'm recording this video remotely with lower grade equipment and lower grade hair. Check out that nasty regrowth. And I also, again, don't have a lot of time to do this, so let's jump right in. Opening up on the chapter, we now have a 072 branded across the clouds there, rather than a 066 like a few chapters ago. So as a person who can count, and also as a Mob Psycho fan, I'm like, well, this means something. I personally feel like it's probably a percentage counter of some kind, and some funky shit's gonna go down when it gets to 100, but we'll wait and see. So it turns out that many of the ships that Vegapunk sunk in the waters of Egghead Island over the past couple of months have been world government ships, specifically Cypherpole ships. And now I'm just thinking that in the scenario that Vegapunk wants to keep the world government away and not have them on his case, that this is actually a pretty dumb move from a smart man. I mean, of course, doing something like this is only going to bring in more government ships to investigate. This is Vegapunk's sea beasts doing right. I can't tell if Pythagoras is lying about seeing all of the ships depart safely, or if this is something that was intentionally done or not. I also really love how Lilith is so ready to fly off the rails at any given moment. We then get a page of the whole Kuma debacle down over with the revolutionaries, and I think that almost everyone agrees that he has beamed himself over to Egghead Island and that we're going to be seeing him real soon. Like, his entire personality and the entire core of his being has been overwritten, and yet there's this paternal instinct of his that has been laying dormant, that has perhaps just been activated because he's registered that Bonnie is in some kind of danger because of, I don't know, the insects from last chapter. To be fair, I wasn't expecting her to be out of it from that for so long. It's kind of funny, especially when you consider that Bonnie's real world nationality is supposed to be Australian and we have hella bugs over here. But I guess that doesn't mean that she has to like them. I mean, I'm not much of a fan either personally. But anyway, if this is an instinctive action by Kuma, who's just registered that his daughter is in some kind of danger, it kind of brings up questions to me in and of itself. Because it's not like Bonnie hasn't been in danger before. In fact, I would even go as far as saying that she's been in more danger before than she currently is, and Kuma hasn't shown up then. Anyway, back with Vegapunk and Luffy, we once again have Vegapunk lamenting the lack of power, resources, and money to bring his visions to life. And as an aspiring director who works in the film industry, this is such a mood. Vegapunk then reveals his dream. Free energy that is available to everyone. Very aspirational, we don't even have that here. But the thing is that he seems to insist that if this power was available to everyone, that worldwide war would cease. I guess you could say that Vegapunk's dream is to create One Piece. For real though, Vegapunk, have you been around many real people before? Because I can guarantee you that people are people, and people are going to find a reason to fight no matter what. Even if you gave everybody equal resources, equal unlimited resources, equal power and everything, humans are naturally still going to find a reason to have at each other. Especially if you're also considering turning the internet into a thing. I mean, have you seen the power scaling that goes on Twitter? I'm a Tumblr national myself, and let me tell you, those shipping wars. And also, can you believe that a little over a year ago, because I personally wasn't really involved with the One Piece side of Twitter or YouTube at the time, that I actually didn't know what power scaling was back then? Well, I knew what it was essentially, I just didn't know that it went by a name. And then one time I asked somebody, what's power scaling? And they gave me the best explanation I've ever been given for anything in my life. They told me that power scaling is just shipping for men. And like, where's the lie? Oh great, and now to add even more quality to this video, it's now raining. So I guess my rule for power scaling is the same as my rule for shipping. It's fine, just be cool about it. With that tangent out of the way, what Vegapunk aspires for is a noble pursuit nonetheless. Anyway, as for the energy source in question that powered the mechanical soldier, that's very likely to be the eternal flame or the personal sun that Lilith was talking about a few chapters back. And I know a lot of people are expecting nuclear fusion or a nuclear reactor or something to that kind of flair, which is very likely, but I also have an alternative, more extreme idea that I did a video on recently. You can check it out if you want. And again, we can't ignore the fact that Luffy is intrinsically linked with the sun now. He always has been, but now after what happened down in Onigashima, more so than ever before. Plus, we've only seen Gear 5 that once, and there's probably so much more to his sun god Nika abilities than what we saw in Onigashima. And I think it would be really interesting if Gear 5, for whatever reason, was activated again here in Egghead Island. And if Vegapunk were to see it, because even though he knows so many other things, I don't think he knows the truth about what fruit it is that Luffy has. I mean, do I think that Vegapunk knows of the existence of Sun God Nika, the fruit? Yes. But I think that he doesn't realize that Luffy's the one who has it. He just assumes, like everybody else has up until very recently, that Luffy has the Gomu Gomu no Mi. So part of me wonders if, or even how, Luffy's abilities tie in with this ancient power source, not power horse. It's storming and I'm sweating, man. Welcome to summer in Sydney. Anyway, stepping over to some of the other aspects of the chapter, Kaku is absolutely impossible to dislike in any way, shape or form. I also really love the detail here of Sanji making this protective stance in front of Robin once they realize that the CP0 are there. I also especially love the detail that he's shorter than her. He's out here looking like a prime little manlet. It's so charming. So it looks like Vegapunk might be heading out to sea with the Straw Hats to wherever their next destination might be. Unless that plan is quashed in any way, which is definitely a possibility. Also, I'm really glad that that hologram technology that Atlas told us about has come back in some capacity. It just reminded me of that one vine of the dude who's like and disappears. Anyway, I believe that this marks the first time since Enies Lobby that we've seen Rob Lucci in his hybrid form. So I can guarantee you that there are some furries somewhere who are rejoicing. It might even be you. In that case, good for you. Will Lucci punch a Kaido-sized little girl? Yes. Yes, he would. Interestingly, it seems like Atlas isn't fully, what's the word? Biodegradable? Organic. Atlas isn't fully organic. At least it seems as though she's not fully organic, given the cracking that kind of happens across her face upon impact, and the fact that her body seems to be kind of smoldering and smoking afterwards. And if this is the case for her, it's quite likely the case for the other satellites as well. I mean, in Edison and Pythagoras' cases, it's more obvious because they look kind of more obviously robotic. So are these satellites some kind of cyborgs or something like that? Whatever the case, I'm sure we will get some answers. Also, I feel like Luffy's going to be really pissed about what happened to Atlas here. When you consider that she is the creator of the food machine that Luffy, Chopper and Bonnie were having a field day with a few chapters back, that she allowed them to make whatever they wanted and was really happy that they appreciated her creation. Atlas gave Luffy food. Lucci has harmed Atlas. Luffy gonna be pissed. Now, I hate to talk about power scaling, but I feel like a lot of people in the fandom are really underestimating Lucci right now. Like, they expect Luffy to absolutely steamroll Lucci in a single punch because they presume that Lucci is still on the same level as he was back during Enies Lobby. But I have a pretty mind-blowing revelation for all of you. The Straw Hats are not the only characters who are constantly progressing and growing stronger. Let's also keep in mind that during the months and years leading up to Enies Lobby, that Luffy was constantly training on this consistent grind from the jungles of Goa Kingdom with Ace and by himself, and then, you know, all of those months he spent on the sea facing many powerful enemies leading up to Enies Lobby. Whereas Lucci had been just working as a shipwright in Waterset, and while that's definitely a job that would keep the average person very fit, Lucci wasn't particularly pushing or exerting himself in this time. So it's actually safe to say that the reason that Luffy eventually won against him back in Enies Lobby was because Lucci was a rusty boy. And now in the 2 years since then, not only has Lucci been active with Cypherpole, he would have been training non-stop to assure that he was in peak condition. This is a whole other beast to the one that we met in the CP9 days. Do I imagine that Luffy is still stronger than Lucci? Yes. Do I think that it'll be a curb stomp battle? No. I'm really excited to see what happens next, and apparently there's only 2 more chapters left this year. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. I'm Dawn of the World, and I will see you next time. I've got 5 seconds left in my phone memory. Gotta get